Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breeze. Breezeway Productions The Breeze, where we bring you the latest in independent films and film festival news. And we are happy to have with us today Julianne Fox, which has her film Never Better at this year's Harlem Film Festival, which we continue our coverage with. Her directorial debut. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Thanks for coming on the show. And tell us a little bit about Never Better.
Yeah, Never Better is the funny, anxious, and ultimately hopeful tale of a recent college grad named Terese, played by Sophia Bryant, who is quarantining alone in the summer of 2020. She also has cystic fibrosis, which is a chronic illness that puts her at high risk for COVID. So she's trying to stay safe, but then her self-interested roommate Amanda returns and fails to practice safe social distancing and puts Teresa's safety and sanity to the test.
Yeah. Where did this inspiration come from besides real life events? Did you have a roommate that kind of did this to you, or what happened?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
I did not. I had pretty good roommates. I do have CF though, and I was starting to want to try and narratively express it, and then I saw this call for entries to a competition called the 6 Feet Apart Experiment, which was produced by Justin Baldoni's Wayfair Studios, and Justin Baldoni wrote and directed 5 Feet Apart, which is the most major motion picture about CF. So I was like, I feel like this could be something they're interested in, and I just really could only draw inspiration from where I was at the time, which was in quarantine, not alone. I think the inspiration kind of came. I was kind of imagining like my nightmare quarantine scenario. Like, what
Yeah.
if I lived with someone that I like didn't really know much about CF, like I didn't feel comfortable asking for things from them or talking about it, and that I just like kind of didn't even like. And it went from there. And I think it's just living with roommates is hard enough in general. Trying
Sure.
to mount a personal home safety response to a global pandemic that none of us have ever
Yeah.
experienced before is
Yeah.
hard enough in itself.
Sure.
Um,
I
so
remember
yeah,
New
it's a little.
York in May of 2020. That was some challenging times.
Yeah, and I'm grateful to have like had at least, a couple. My bubble got a little smaller eventually, but like the idea of being fully alone in quarantine is the idea is kind of driving yourself crazy. And there Therese is very much in her own head. We're constantly hearing her voiceover, her internal monologue that just will not stop, even if maybe she wants it to.
Yeah.
So even though she's alone, we're there with her a little bit.
How did you explain to Sophia Bryant, the actress that plays your lead character, how to basically showcase that she's living with cystic fibrosis? I mean, that's something that you have to convey to an actress about that. Did you have a lot of conversations about that so that it was portrayed accurately on screen?
Yeah, honestly, she came on pretty soon before we shot, so I can't say like a lot of conversations, but we definitely had, I feel like I just kind of told her all my deepest, darkest fears and emotions over the course of a week. Like I was like, obviously my best friend probably knows all this stuff about me, but I think in such a condensed time, I've never like told someone that much about myself. So just kind of telling her how I felt, and obviously like I'm on set, so the whole authenticity of it is pretty easy. Like we're using my vest, and it's kind of natural. And something I really was important to me was also keeping it kind of subtle, which is a hard line to toe because it's also, it's about the pandemic and the risk she's at. So you also have to make the stakes clear and explain
Mhm.
what CF is and why, having a lung disease is not a good thing during a respiratory pandemic. But like we don't mention it till I want to say like 3 to 5 minutes into the film, and I wanted to make sure it was like, oh, this is just a girl quarantining alone. Like this is a
Right.
normal girl. Okay, wait, there's a little something different, and oh wait, okay, we're learning a little bit more. And honestly, I think you probably could stand to Google CF after the film because we don't really explain it to you, and that is a little bit by design because I don't think you need the medical definition. Or at least I hope you don't, to be able to empathize with her. But
Sure.
one thing that I do think is kind of a funny story with Sophia is like she is just so incredible. And I remember our first Zoom, we probably had like a 3 or 4 hour Zoom, like before she came out to LA to do the film. And
Mhm.
having a lot of these conversations. And I explained to her one thing about like kind of how to cough with CF, where a CF cough is like kind of deep, it's very mucusy, like mucus is a one of the bigger issues with CF. And I explained it to her so briefly and like one time, and she did it. Like that girl can cough. Like she coughs better than me. Like it is the most convincing. And I remember thinking of it like halfway through filming, where like I've never had to explain this to her again. I've never reminded her of it, and like the cough is on point. I hope anyone who watches it with CF could recognize that.
That's a nod to the acting ability right there. Someone
Yeah.
that doesn't need to be reminded how to do that mannerism of coughing. So, so shout out there. And let's talk about what do you believe that you have learned after you've created your first feature? What was something that you walked away with after you finished this that you now know for making future projects?
I mean, it's honestly so many little things that are hard to contextualize, but I talk about that with my DP Liz a lot, where like she's someone I would work with again in a heartbeat, and we're just like next time, like well, now we could do it next time. But it very much felt like trial by fire in some ways, because I shot this movie about like 6 months after I graduated college, and in some ways I was going into it like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Maybe I'm skipping a few steps. And I think the biggest
Just got to
thing,
do it. Just
yeah,
did it.
you just got to do it. You just got to try it and like
Yeah.
learn on the job, fake it till you make it. But also like, you're not faking it because you are good. I think that's the biggest thing I got out of it, was just like a sense of validation that like I learned that I can do this and I should do this, and people should totally pay me to do this. And like my skills are like worthwhile, I guess.
You walk a thin line, and then you do it in between both of those things, and you'll have your success. So you just kind of charge ahead strategically, carefully, sometimes brashly, but you'll end up winning in the end. And look at this. So you're an official selection of the Harlem Film Festival this year. Is there anything you'd like to say to the film festival for the official selection?
Yeah, I mean, we're so honored to be included. Sophia is from New York, so we really wanted to play a New York festival. She actually lives in Harlem now as well, so it worked out well. I was in New York last weekend for a couple things for it. And yeah, you can check it out there. We filmed a Q&A that'll play after with Sophia and some of the programmers. They'll play after the film.
Nice. Where can people go to check out more about the film, like a website, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, something like that?
Yeah, you can check us out at neverbetter_film on Instagram and TikTok. And the film's actually, it's playing at Harlem right now, but it's actually already out as well on video on demand. You can rent it for about like $5 on Amazon, Apple TV, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you rent movies.
Awesome. Well, we hope our audience is able to check that out. So make sure to look out for Never Better. And again, congratulations on your directorial debut, Julianne Fox, and appreciate you spending time with us today on The Breeze.
Thank you. It was great to be here.